Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review. Today I saw G.I. Joe Retaliation. As much as I wanted to like this movie, sadly I have to say I liked the first one, The Rise of Cobra, a lot better. I will get more into Rise of Cobra when I actually get my DVD collection out of storage and actually start doing reviews of older movies that I have on DVD. But for right now, I'm going to say the only thing I really disliked about the original, well, not the original, the G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, was one, Marlon Wayans, and two, was the accelerator suit. Those were the only two things that really drove the movie down for me. Other than that, I really didn't mind any of the building of the characters or the rising of Cobra or the backstory of Cobra Command. Yeah, it varied from the original series, and I was a fan of the original series growing up. I used to watch it every Saturday morning when it came on. I used to watch it basically anytime it came on and I caught it. But there was never really much of a backstory in that. I've even started rewatching it on Netflix before I moved out here. There's not really much backstory in that series until you get into later seasons, and they start to go more into characters' backgrounds. So as far as the Rise of Cobra, they had a lot of room to create a story, which is what they did in the first one. I didn't like Marlon Wayans because, honestly, his interjection of comedy when he's trying to be in a serious action movie doesn't work. It's just like when he was in, that Dungeons and Dragons movie? Everyone was happy when he died. Except I don't recall if he died in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra or not. I don't think he did. The other thing was the accelerator suits wasn't really technology that existed in the G.I. Joe series, at least the animated series from the 80s. So that was just kind of, let's throw some tech in to make it more modern, up to date. So that was another thing I didn't like. Aside from that, some of their casting choices I didn't really care for, aside from Marlon Wayans. Not really the biggest Channing Tatum fan, and then they got, I can't think of the actor's name. But he played the, I can't even remember the character's name. The old guy that was in charge of the G.I. Joe thing in the first one. Basically, I didn't really like that portrayal. And a lot of the characters didn't really come back in the second one. Anyway, we're here to talk about the second one, not the first one. So, like I said, I liked the first one better than I liked this, mainly because the first one had a consistent story. In this one, it's almost like 6 small stories strung together, which was a little confusing trying to figure out what was going on. This is where we're going to get into the spoilers or the summary or whatever. So again, if you don't want to know what happened in the movie, feel free to skip ahead. But basically, it starts out with the G.I. Joes going into, where the hell did they go? Pakistan or wherever, or because they had to extract somebody who was switching sides or was going to give up information for an asylum. So they go in to extract this guy, and then that's the end of that story. Then they get sent out on another mission where they have to go into like Baghdad or whatever and take out some terrorist group who somehow got their hand on nuclear weapons or something. So they go in and take those guys out, and then that's the end of that story. Then, while they're waiting to be picked up and taken back to the States after that mission, is the bombing strike that they show in the preview, where The Rock's character says there's only one man who could order a strike like that, and I voted for him. Then it cuts over to the White House, where you find out more about how Cobra has infiltrated the White House, and I blanked on the character. Zartan is portraying the president. Then it gets a little odd because G.I. Joe in the original series was supposed to be a secret military task force that people weren't supposed to know existed. They went in and took care of basically international terrorists, I guess you could say, Cobra. And the whole idea was to keep it secret, so the civilian world didn't know about it. But in this one, everyone knows what G.I. Joe is and that they exist. They're basically just like SWAT for the military, I guess, which was a little off. And because everyone knows what G.I. Joe is, everyone knows, at least the military knows what Cobra is, because they talk about how Cobra Commander and Destro were the lead members of Cobra were taken into custody or whatever and were imprisoned. So they already have the name Cobra assigned to these, but then, like, when Zartan's portraying the president, he goes on the news and says that the G.I. Joe group turned sides and basically attacked other American troops, wiping out a bunch of people, and he was interacting a special group that he had developed to fight G.I. Joe, which he had subnamed Cobra. So, I mean, he goes on the news and basically tells all this, which made no sense to me at all. So then, the Joes, basically most of the Joes get killed, including Channing Tatum. So then it's The Rock and like 2 or 3 other remaining Joes that get back to America, and then they have to look up the original Joe, which is Bruce Willis's character, who basically tells them, I can't help you. Then it cuts over to Japan, where there's something going on with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and the hell's the other girl's name? Jinx? Yeah. Which is Storm Shadow's cousin, who Snake Eyes doesn't really trust, but he's told to trust by the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan, who portrays the head monk of the order or whatever that Snake Eyes was a part of. So yeah, another kind of bad casting, but not as bad as Marlon Wayans. I can deal with the RZA being an old wise monk as opposed to Marlon Wayans. So then Snake Eyes is doing something, and then he temporarily makes peace with Storm Shadow because Storm Shadow is able to prove to the Order that he didn't kill the Master, the little sub-story that was in the first one. So then Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Jinx all come back. Well, actually there was another point where Storm Shadow broke into the prison and broke out Cobra Commander, and then it cut over to Japan. Which actually there was some stupid crap that happened during the prison break too, which I'm not going to get into right now. I'm trying to keep these shorter because I really don't have much space left on my tapes, and apparently the stores around here stopped selling these particular types of tapes, or at least I haven't been able to find any. So I'm trying to keep these shorter than the 15 to 20 minutes I've been doing. So I'm going to skip over a little bit here. So yeah, then they go to Japan, they make peace with Storm Shadow, then Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Jinx come back to the U.S., meet up with The Rock and the other remaining Joes, And then they have to go back to meet with Bruce Willis's character again. This time he's going to help them. And then they go in and basically rescue the president. And yeah, I think that was basically the end of the movie. I really don't remember what happened after that. I mean, they had kind of a battle with the remaining Cobra people, but I really don't remember what happened. And I just saw the movie. So, yeah, as far as casting goes, a little bit better casting in this one. There really weren't a whole lot of Joes in this one. There was, The Rock was playing Roadblock, and remembering back to the way Roadblock looked in the original cartoon series, The Rock actually really fits the role. He has the overall look that Roadblock did, except Roadblock did have a tattoo on his arm, but he didn't have like the whole big tribal thing that The Rock has, but I guess they're tired of covering that up in movies, which I guess makes sense. But The Rock really did fit the part of Roadblock. Marlon Wayans wasn't in it, which I think in the first one he played Ripcord. They did have some stupid advanced tech at the beginning. I don't remember if it was Channing Tatum or The Rock put these like gloves on that like had heating coils on them that he used to like melt his way through a fence. Which is still kind of stupid, but it wasn't the accelerator suit, so I could kind of give him a pass on that. Plus, it was in the beginning of the movie, and you didn't see any other majorly stupid tech through the rest of it. But yeah, the story was just kind of scattered all over. Like I said, it seemed like it was about 6 or 7 mini stories that they strung together into one movie, or to try to make a movie. So the casting was better. They weren't trying to fill out as many Joe characters, and they basically had the limited cast. The story wasn't that great. So overall, like I said, I kind of like the original one better as far as story goes. I like this one better as far as casting goes. Bruce Willis was kind of wasted in this. I don't even know why he was there. It's like, hey, we need another big name in this movie since we're going to kill off Channing Tatum pretty early. Well, let's throw a bunch of money at Bruce Willis and see what he says. And Bruce Willis is at the point where he'll take a paycheck for anything, and he only showed up on camera for a few minutes. Really only had one small action scene, and then he was gone. I don't even remember what happened to him. He was just kind of gone. So yeah, overall the movie wasn't really that memorable. As far as a star rating, really the action in it wasn't even good enough to save the horrible story in this one. And I can't give it a strong rating based solely on the better casting. I'm going to have to give this one I'm going to have to give this one probably a 2. No. Maybe a 1.5. No, it's not quite that bad. Yeah, we'll go with a 2. It's not quite bad enough to do a 1.5, but it's not good enough to get a 2.5. Yeah, sadly, I liked The Host better than G.I. Joe Retaliation. If you want to watch a good action movie, go watch Olympus Has Fallen. I think I talked about that earlier. Yeah, as far as G.I. Joe, the casting's getting better, but they need to go back to the original storylines, and hopefully whatever they come up with for the next G.I. Joe is much better. One can only hope. So yeah, that's it for this review. Not sure what I'm going to see next. Got an early day again tomorrow, so I'm sure I'll get to see something. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.